And hello class, we are going into week number 3 of our course, and if you all happen to be looking at this video over the course of the weekend beginning today, Friday, or going through Sunday, as you know, coming up to finalize week 2 will be your final paper that will be due on Sunday night, along with your week 2 video review, as well as the quiz. And I made an announcement a few days ago regarding the week 2 quiz that I actually forgot to post it. And so I'm giving everyone until Saturday night to take the quiz. And so I officially posted the quiz on Wednesday, and that means on Saturday night, everyone should take the quiz according to week number 2. So with that being said, let's get into what we're going to do for week number 3 here. And here's the agenda for week number 3. The first thing that I want to cover here is your final paper that's going to be due next Sunday night. Of course, this will be week 3. This will be another section of your paper that is due. And as I had mentioned a little bit last week, what we're doing with the final paper due with this course, we are actually scaffolding. That's what we're doing. We are splitting the final paper up in sections, with those sections being due various weeks. So what are you going to do in conclusion to week number 3? You are going to continue your economic comparison, keeping the country that you select to compare their economic structure against that of the United States. And this week you're going to focus on the economic areas of public and private goods, taxing, and also the financial strength. So look at debt ratios, look at foreign deficits within the country. Compare that to the United States foreign deficit in terms of where your country is at. And also public and private goods. That could be pertaining to trade, as well as private and private goods that are connected within the country that actually make up part of the gross domestic product. Also taxing. What is the taxing system like? Okay, how are citizens within the country taxed? Is it based upon a class group, for example? Like, for example, here in the United States, you have upper and you have middle class tax brackets based on whatever the amount that the individual may bring in annually per year, whatever their income may be. So make sure that you compare your country with that of the United States within these areas. And this is going to be due next Sunday at 11:55. This will be your week 3 final paper portion. Which leads me to the next assignment that's going to be due. And the next assignment will be another video review. So you're going to talk about minimum wage laws. So make up a video discussing minimum wage laws and think about the past 50 years. Think about the minimum wage rates and how does it compare over the inflation rates over that same time. So think about, of course, how prices have inflated in all areas and categories over the last 50 years. Think about common goods and services that the consumer happens to pay for and measure that up against the average minimum wage, which would be the hourly wage rate based within this country. And what you want to do is you want to talk about the positive and the negatives concerning that wage rate. As we know, when you think about minimum wage and the amount that's set here within this country, it makes it quite difficult to survive on just the minimum wage rate. As a matter of fact, you can't survive on a minimum wage rate alone. There has to be other supplemental income that the individual has to bring in, especially when we are dealing with periods of inflation like we're dealing with right now, and we're headed into nearly a recessional period. So, plead your case in this, and what you're going to do again is you're going to bring up your positive as well as your negative regarding the wage rate. Now, charts and graphs I saw were actually being used in last week's video presentation. That's a good thing. Find charts and graphs and begin to break down the charts and graphs that will give you a comparison of where we were at maybe 50 years ago with minimum wage rates and where we were at in terms of price inflation. That's going to be due next Saturday at 11:55 p.m. That will be your other assignment. Now, when it comes to your discussion threads, we're going to talk about profits and we're going to talk about Diaprim. So Diaprim is going to be related to the pharmaceutical industry. Now, of course, think how lucrative the pharmaceutical industry is now within this present day. Okay, and this is actually based on an actual case that did occur. I want you to research Mark Scarilli and what he actually did in regards to the drug Diaprim. So talk about legality and talk about ethics. There's been arguments that certain drugs, okay, that have been released within the pharmaceutical market, as a matter of fact, okay, are considered to be unethical. And then what about the legality of a lot of drugs as well? And what I mean by that is that with some drugs, even though these drugs are manufactured to be a cure for certain illnesses that we have, we know that there's various symptoms and side effects as well that a lot of these drugs bring that could cause other health problems. So with that being said, within the pharmaceutical industry, there's a lot of arguments pertaining to this. Some people actually prefer to move away from the pharmaceuticals and getting prescription drugs and do more holistic approaches when it comes to treating certain illnesses. So this video presentation is going to be not the video presentation. This is a discussion thread post. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to extend the due date on this. I'm going to extend the due date. As a matter of fact, no, we will leave it right where it's at. I do apologize for the confusion, class. Thursday night, I want everybody to make their initial response to Diaprim, and you are to give at least 2 responses to 2 of your peers within the course. That should be made by Saturday at 11:55 p.m. So Thursday night, your discussion threads will be due. The next one will be profits. That will be your other discussion thread. And what you're going to do is you're going to look at the law of supply and demand. Now, you can't do a supply-demand analysis without looking at the consumer. Consumer demand for the product, consumer demand for the service. How high in demand is it? The higher demand, the increase is going to be inputted or given by the merchant to supply the product. Of course, once it slows down, what happens? There's lesser of a supply that the merchant will request from the supplier because now consumer spending has actually slowed down. Now think about the price as it pertains to supply and demand. So what happens when there is, of course, maybe a lower demand for a product, as we know, the price will go up. However, though, okay, if the demand, okay, is higher, meaning, okay, that more consumers, okay, are spending, more quantity is going out, is being outputted by the retailer, then, of course, you will see either your price moderate or the price could actually drop as well, too, due to the demand itself. So keep that in mind as you are actually answering this phrase: a profit opportunity known to all will be realized by none. So do your supply and demand analysis that's centered around this, okay, and talk about what perfect competition looks like. Now, perfect competition is relative to a free market. And as you know, here in the United States, we are subject to free markets. There's more free markets in terms of competition. We talk about barriers of entry. We talk about how free it is to enter into the competitive market pertaining to different products and industries, as opposed to, of course, you would have, let's say, maybe a monopoly setup. We do have monopolies here, don't get me wrong. All right, but I believe that we have more of a free market competition here and perfect competition as opposed to monopolies being set up. So think about this and give me your initial response. That will be Thursday at 11:55. And then, of course, just like with the Diaprim, what you want to do is you want to give responses to 2 of your peers that will be due on Saturday night. So going back to week 3 here, your agenda, just to cover everything in terms of what you're going to do here. Your discussion threads will be due. That'll be on Thursday night. Of course, you have your week 3 video review. That will be due on Sunday night, along with the final paper portion that you're going to be writing on with your economic comparison analysis. That will be due on Sunday night as well. Just a reminder, everyone, and I don't want to forget it this time, your week 3 quiz, you will see it actually become visible. It will be made available for the class to look at and to take. That will be starting on Monday, June the 26th. So your week 3 quiz will be due or must be taken by next Friday night. So as you notice here, this is not visible to you, but after this week, we will have 2 more quizzes that will be assigned to us covering the chapter content, terms, and definitions. Again, Friday night is when your quiz is to be taken for week number 3. Just a reminder here, I made an announcement a little bit earlier regarding APA writing guidelines. Feel free, everybody, to take a look at this. And this is Purdue Underwriting, as you did a copy and a paste of the link. There was a revision in terms of the various fonts now that you can use for the writing style as it pertains to APA, and that was done back in 2019. Feel free to take a look at this. Okay, everyone. Week number 3 is underway, effective and beginning Monday, June the 26th. This is Professor Javier Black signing off for the weekend. Everyone be blessed, and I'll be talking to you soon.